and welcome to the final episode of 2019 of Sipping Tea with Jody B. This is Jody B, and guys, it's hard to believe that 2019 is over already and we're about to go into 2020. I mean, this year has gone by so fast. I started this podcast in 2019 because I was turning 40 and I was feeling some type of way because it's like the things I thought I would be doing at 40 or how my life would be looking at 40. It wasn't really looking like that. And so I was having some conversations with friends, and the conversations were really good. And I'm like, I should really record this. People should listen to this. And so that's how I got started with the podcast, because I wanted a place to just be able to vent, have open, honest, transparent conversations and learn from them personally. And then also maybe other people could learn as well. And so that's how the podcast got started. Now, also, I've learned some lessons. And I'm going to be honest, some of them, they weren't so fun. Some of them were harder to learn than others. Some of them hurt more than others. But all in all, I've learned a lot. And I can truly say that I believe that those lessons I've learned in 2019 has prepared me with 2020 vision for going into the year 2020. And so that's what I decided to entitle today's episode, 2020 Vision. And on this episode, I just want to kind of talk to you guys and share some things, some lessons that I've learned in 2019. Nothing formal, nothing extravagant. It's going to be a little short episode, but I just want to share with you the lessons that I have learned and that I'm taking with me into 2020. And I hope that you all can learn from them as well. And also provide me back with some feedback, some advice, and maybe share some lessons that you've learned in the process of 2019. So with that being said, I'm going to get started. So the first lesson I've learned in 2019 is that Jody can't control anybody but Jody. A lot of times I think personally I would get caught up in, oh my God, why is this person doing this? Why are they saying that? Why did they, do this to me? And it's like, girl, chill. You can't control anybody else but you. And I think that excess of trying to worry about what other people are doing to me and woe is me, it causes stress. So eliminating all of that and just worrying about myself is so much easier. So that's one lesson I've learned. Lesson number one, I can't control anybody else's actions but my own. So at the end of the day, I'm going to do what makes me happy. The second lesson I've learned is that communication is key to any relationship. And I don't care if that's a romantic relationship, a friendship, relationship with your children, with your co-workers, whoever. Communication is so important. And I think a lot of times that's why disagreements start. That's why arguments start, because the lack of communication. And I'll give an example of that. This year I've had some really open, honest conversations with my kids. Personally, one-on-one, and then also collectively, and just letting them know, because I think sometimes children think that, my mom is okay, my dad is okay, my parents, they good, and not knowing that we're human too. We have feelings too. And sometimes as a child, you can hurt your parents' feelings. And so just I sat each of them down and talked to them about what I was going through, some things that they may not have even known or not taking time to see, and just being more transparent with them that mama is human, mama is a woman. I'm not superwoman. I may act like I am, but I hurt, I have feelings, I go through things. Sometimes I'm quiet because I'm going through something. Sometimes I may seem a little reserved, and that's because this happened or that happened, and just having those open conversations with them. And I truly believe that that has helped our relationships with myself and with my kids, that now they feel like they can come to me more. And we've always had good communication, but I feel like sometimes with teenagers that can get kind of sketchy. And so I believe that those conversations I had with them kind of opened the door for more open, honest conversations within our household. So that's just one example of communication and why it's so key. Also this year I've worked on communication with co-parenting with my children's father, just having more of an open, honest conversations, and knowing that, sometimes, his feelings matter as well as mine matter. So not taking everything so personally, and just making, communicating, making everything about the kids and not about us. And so that's two examples of why communication was so key for me this year. The next thing I've learned is that it's okay to take a break. Sometimes, I just get to going with work, with the kids, with everything else I have going on. And it's like you're just running yourself ragged. Like, it's okay to stop and to take a break. But when you take that break, just let it be a break. Don't just completely stop. So I've learned that breaks are necessary and that they are okay. The next lesson I've learned is that it's okay to say no, and that no is an answer in and of itself. So many times, when people would ask me to go places, to do things, it's like, oh, well, I can't, I'm going to go because I don't want them to be upset, or I'm going to do this because I don't want the person to be upset, knowing I'm tired, knowing I don't feel like it. Or somebody asks you for something, you feel like you got to give it to them. It's okay to say no, and you don't even have to give a reason for your no. No is an answer in and of itself. And that's another key lesson that I've learned this year. The next one I've learned is that no matter how good, pure your intentions are, that they may not receive it the way you're giving it. Sometimes I used to do things for people, and it's like they question your motive or question why you're doing it. And it's like, I'm doing this out of good intention. Why are they questioning it? But I've learned that if you're going to do something, if you're giving something, just give it in the right spirit, because they may not receive it the way you're giving it. And that is okay. But just make sure that my intentions are pure and that my intentions are good, and you can't control the rest, which goes back to my first lesson, is that you can't control other people. You can only control yourself. The next lesson I've learned is the power of forgiveness. And it's important to forgive. And the person that I had to really work on forgiving this year was myself. For some choices I had made that, I felt guilty about, that I really wasn't, like, oh my God, Jody, how could you have done this? How could you have let that get that far? Relationship wise, personally, just I've learned the power of forgiveness, and I've learned to forgive without even having the apology. And that was so important. And I'm not going to even lie, y'all. Like, I'm still working on that one with a few things, just learning to forgive. I'm working on it, but I'm not all the way there yet, because I feel like, sometimes, like, why isn't this person apologizing? Why aren't they sorry for what they did? And you have to learn forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for yourself, because you can never properly move forward if you're still holding on to baggage or unforgiveness or animosity from things that have happened. So I've learned to forgive even without an apology. And I've learned to forgive myself. I've learned to not be so hard on myself, to know, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. And even when I make those mistakes, the forgiveness that I would want somebody else to give me, I need to give to myself. So I've learned that it's really important. The power of forgiveness is very important in life. I've also learned personally that don't settle for less, that, I deserve a lot, and I deserve what I give, and I deserve everything, every good and perfect thing that God has for me. And so many times I think that I've settled in relationships, friendships, a lot of things. I've settled, like, just, oh, well, they gave me that. That's good enough. No, it's not. Jody deserves. Let me make it personal. Jody deserves so much more. And so I've learned in 2019 not to settle. And so going into 2020, all that beautiful stuff that God has for me, I'm waiting on it, because I refuse to settle. No more settling in 2020. The next thing I've learned is to stop trying to make, and I'm capitalizing make. I can't make things happen. And I'm the type of person, if I want something, I don't care what, I'm going to get it. I'm going to make it happen. And I was talking to someone about this the other day, like, just I'm always gonna make stuff happen. I don't care if it's at work, personally, with my love life. Like, I want this, I'm going to get it. I'm gonna make this happen. And that sounds like a good quality. It really does, and it can be, but it's not always a good thing. Sometimes I cannot make things happen. And sometimes when you force things, when you make them happen, then the results of them are not always positive. And I've learned that this year. Like, stop trying to make everything happen. You're not, you can't fix everything. You can't be everything for everybody. You cannot keep making things happen. Let things flow. Let go of some of the control issues. Just stop trying to make everything happen. And that's a lesson, like I said, with the other one. This is one that I'm still working on, because like I said, I'm a go-getter. I'm going to make it happen regardless of who says no, what obstacles are in my way. I'm going to make it happen. But I've learned to let go and stop trying to make everything happen. The next one that I've learned is every person that it's okay that you need a person. And I've learned this from, it's going to sound crazy, but on Grey's Anatomy, Meredith would always say, "Oh, this person is my person." And I'm like, what? But I've learned the importance now, sitting back and thinking about it. Like, every person, you have to have a person that you can go to and that you can be honest and open with, and that they're going to do the same for you, because I don't need me. I don't need a yes man all the time. It's nice to have those people like, "Oh, that's a beautiful idea. Oh, yeah, you're great. Oh, yeah, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, yeah, that was a beautiful idea." But it's also important to have that person that's going to say, "No, girl, that was wrong. You were wrong. You need to go back and fix that. No, you wrong. And I'm going to tell you when you're wrong." So we all have to have that person that we can go to, they can tell us when we're wrong. That's not our yes man, but we know that they're in our corner and that they're going to tell us the truth. And I thank God that this year I have been blessed with not only a person, but with people that hold me accountable and who tell me when I'm right, when I'm wrong, who call me on my bull. And, Jody, yeah, you're a good person, but in that situation, you were wrong, baby, and go fix it. And so we all have to have that person. So I'm telling you now, if you don't have that person, pray, ask God to send you someone in your life that can hold you accountable. And I don't care if it's a counselor, a therapist, a friend, a parent, a sister, a brother. We all have to have that person we can go to. We can't operate in this world, in this life alone. We need that person. The next thing I learned is that everyone doesn't have to know or doesn't deserve to know everything. And by that, I mean, a lot of times, I hear certain things like, "Oh, well, this person said this about you," or "they said this." And I used to feel the need to go justify myself or explain my side of the story or tell what, in my words, what really happened. But I've gotten to the point, it's okay. That's their story. That's what they heard. If that's what they want to believe, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. It's okay. Everybody doesn't deserve to know everything, and everybody doesn't deserve the privilege of knowing everything that's going on in Jody's life. And that's, if they heard their side of the story and that's what they choose to believe, it's not my job to go rewrite their story for them. It's okay. The next thing I know that I've learned is that it's okay to love people from a distance. Relationships, friendships, whatever they may be, family members, it's okay to, just because you're not in that person's space, in that, their personal space, in, talking to them every day, you can still love someone from a distance, and that is okay. The next thing I've learned is to support those who support you. And I say that because I'm the type of person, like, if I shop at a certain store, that's where I shop. I don't go all over the place. If somebody's doing my hair, that's where I'm going. I'm not going around to different people to do my hair. I go to one person to do my nails. I go to one person to do my hair. I go to a couple of shops that I shop at. I'm a consistent person. But I've learned that not everyone does that. And it's important that if those people that you are supporting, that you're riding for, that you're rooting for, that needs to be reciprocated. And friendships, work relationships. Reciprocation is so important. And I think a lot of times people don't do that. And, you get caught up like, well, I'm, going hard for this person, and I'm, supporting their business, and I'm putting their business out there. Somebody asks where I got it from. I'm letting them know. But then when it's their turn to support you, that's not always reciprocated. So I've learned in 2019 and going into 2020, those who support me, I'm supporting them. It's important. Reciprocation is important. And I don't care what people say, or, well, just because you support them, they don't have to support you. No, 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 no. Reciprocation is very important. If I support you when it's my time, I feel like those people should support me as well. And so reciprocation, support those who support you, is the next lesson that I've learned. And let me say, wrapping up, my last lesson that I've learned is that shame will kill joy. Because so many times I used to get caught up in, oh, I did this, and just being embarrassed about it, or shame about it, or, how did I let this happen? And getting caught up in that you can't share the story or the lesson that God has, giving you with other people, because you're so caught up in the shame of what has happened. And I'm going to go more into this in 2020 with some detailed stories of things that particular lessons that I have learned in 2019, and going more in depth with them. But just know that, whatever lesson that you have gone through, that it's a purpose behind everything. And I know sometimes when you're going through it, you're like, oh my God, like, what is this? Why is this? And you can't always see it, what the lesson God is trying to teach you. And it may not be for you. It may be a lesson for you to share with another person. But just know that in everything, there is a lesson. And until you learn that lesson, you're going to keep repeating what has happened. It's going to keep repeating itself until you learn what you're supposed to learn from the situation. So, like I said, didn't take as long as I thought it would. But guys, thank you so much for those of you who have supported me. It means the world to me, and to my family, my friends, my, associates, all of you who have supported me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, whether it's with Sipping Tea with Jody B, whether it's with my professional career, with my real estate career, whatever it may be. If you have ever supported me, just know that I truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it. For those of you who have listened to me, and who've shared my podcast, thank you so much. There's so many things coming in 2020. I mean, I'm so excited about it because, like I said, this year I have really learned who Jody B is. I've renewed my passion. I feel like the purpose that God has given me is going to be, revealed in 2020. And I'm so excited about it. And thank you for going on this journey with me. This is the last episode of 2019, but this is definitely not the last of Sipping Tea with Jody B. So I ask each of you to please listen, please share, like my Instagram page on Insta, Sipping Tea with Jody B. And also, if you have any ideas, and thank you for the ones who have emailed me with show ideas and show topics, know that in 2020, they are coming. So my email address is sippingteawithjodyb@gmail.com. And guys, once again, thank you so much for listening. And I'm so excited for 2020. And I hope all of you have a happy new year. See you in 2020. Bye, guys.